its inconveniences, Lang was satisfied with life in the high-rise.
This is based on the J.G. Ballard novel from 1975. This is obviously the 40th year. The film has been attempted to be made ever since the 70s and has finally been made by Ben Wheatley, who is one of the rising stars of the UK cinema scene. The novel that they said could never be made, a class warfare all set within a high-rise building starring Tom Hiddleston, who is he the new Bond? He is Taylor Swift, even better.
Things would be better if we could afford to move to a higher floor.
If you lower people, overload the system, there'll be power cuts.
How's the high life?
Prone to fits of mania, narcissism, and power failure. You built all this.
I put all my energies into this town.
Is that a horse?
Probably on the 40th floor.
Your husband appears intent on colonizing the sky. Who can blame him?
It's a tough film, actually. It doesn't. Well, I don't think we mention how ugly it is in parts, but it is quite a tough watch.
Prepare to meet moderate resistance.
The really unusual thing, and it seems so really unusual now, is like every single person smokes in this film. And that is like, now it seems kind of like an act of rebellion when you see literally so much cigarette smoking going down, which shows you how a completely tame a society we are at the moment when that becomes a compelling feature.
Where's the sirens?
What have you got there?
A kaleidoscope.
What can you see through that thing?
The future.
I billed it as the world's first Polish vampire mermaid horror musical, which it is, and it is still the best. Just a very unusual hybrid film of several genres, all set in decadent Warsaw. Yeah, I'm not going to over-describe it. It's fucking great. Just see it. I thought saying Cafe Flesh, Splash and the Hunger was actually a really good comparison. It's a song, it's a consumerism song sung in a big sort of shopping mall like Farmers, and everybody joins in this sing-along that starts off, you know, obviously how those ones do with only a couple of people singing, and then suddenly there's 300 people. It's like a Björk video, but with crazier people. I don't know if it's going to be the same subtitles that the audience will see, because some of them were hysterical. Like, you remember the Hong Kong films, sometimes when the translation goes off the rails, some of them were a bit like that, which provided an immense sort of alternate laugh track. To sound like a sleazy old dude, one of the sirens, mermaids in the film, is kind of like the hottest new Russian actress, and she's mesmerizing on screen, and you cannot take your eyes off her. I sound like a creepy dude, but she, for me, makes the entire film and is the reason why anyone should go see this film. She's going to be the next big breakout star. How did that slip in there? Greasy Strangler is a film I was a producer of, and this is now the fourth time I've been allowed to program one of the films I've been involved in, which is very nice at the festival. The background behind The Greasy Strangler is I worked with the director on a film I made called The ABCs of Death Part 2, and his name is Jim Hosking. He's a Brit director. He's very funny. He's quite a famous commercials director, and he did a great job in ABCs 2. And I was talking to his producer, and he said, I've got this crazy script of his that I can't get made. And so I said, I'll send it through and I'd love to read it. And so I read it, and it was The Greasy Strangler, and it was the most crazy script I've ever read in my life. And I was like, yeah, we've got to make this thing because no one else is going to make it. This is a very, very funny film that looks like a horror film from the outside, but is actually a very sweet tale about fathers and sons. It just contains a lot of naked people and flatulence.
You know, I'd always hoped that right before I died,
My life would flash before my eyes, and I would see wonderful things.
This is by the directors known as the Daniels, two gentlemen called Daniel. People who watch a lot of music videos probably remember one called Turned Down for What, which had a lot of people shaking their booties and falling through floors of an apartment building. Those guys have made a series of great shorts, and this is their feature film starring Daniel Radcliffe as a flatulent corpse and Paul Dano as a suicidal young man. Together they find out about the meaning of life and what is great about being human. In reality, a lot of great fart jokes and puerile humour is mixed in with an incredible adventure between two very unlikely friends.
Shut up! You can't just say everything that comes into your head. That's bad talking. Oh. Oh! It's moving! What's happening? Manny, I think your Wang is guiding us home. It's magic.
Alongside us with the Greasy Strangler at Sundance, they were the other film that had multiple walkouts. That was their badge of honor as well.
People don't like other people's farts.
Is that why you don't fart in front of me?
I just like to do it alone. Or hold it in. That's what you're supposed to do.
That's so sad.
We sang and we danced, and it was beautiful. God, no. Well, don't be afraid.
This is the second documentary of The Section. It's by Keith Maitland. This is based on a really phenomenal oral history that came out in the mid-90s about the shootings by Charles Whitman in 1966 in Austin, Texas, where 14 people died. This is a really riveting account. The director has made a really wise decision to use kind of rotoscoping that Richard Linklater pioneered with Scanner Darkly and A Waking Life, and it's used really effectively in this film to show the point of views of those involved with this horrendous attack, the first really wide mass shooting in American history. And with the shootings these days, it's incredibly timely. With the Orlando shooting recently. So I think it's going to be a very popular film, or either that or it's going to be completely empty.
I didn't know what had happened at all. I just remember looking up at the sky.
I mean, you're either a true crime fan or you're not. I think if you're still staggered and stunned by Orlando, you're probably not going to run along and sign this up. But this is also about survival. This is also about what great things can happen, what we can do for other people. It's about reaching down and being a freaking hero when it counts. And it's not just about the tragedy. It's about the uplifting side of how people react during a tragedy as well. And so I think it can be both devastating and also uplifting at the same time, and I really find those sort of documentaries very powerful and moving. And this is a really, really solid account of what went down, and first-person witnesses told through a new riveting technique. It's really a must-see. They're priming it for an Oscar, I think.
This is a warning to the citizens of Austin. Stay away from the university area.
Stay away from the university area. There is a sniper on the university tower firing at will.
This is an Iranian film. by a director called Babak Anvari, and guess what? He is going to be in town for these screenings. It really blew people away at Sundance this year. It's been sold as a horror film, but it's so much more. It's a terrifying allegory about the Iraq War, told through the eyes of a mother and a daughter in an apartment that is very spooky and gets spookier as the film goes on. And it's a real knockout because it's taking place in an environment we're not used to seeing in this type of film, and we don't really have a stable purchase to work from, and I think that being off balance is a really great way to watch a film and not know where things are going to go. So strong directorial debut. This is Jeremy Saulnier's follow-up to his highly acclaimed thriller Blue Ruin, and once again, it's another thriller, part of his Colour trilogy. This has got Patrick Stewart as a leader of a neo-Nazi gang who is running a criminal empire in the Oregon woods. Unfortunately for a punk band, on the ends of their tether on the last gig of their tour, who need the money, they take a gig playing in front of these skinheads, and unfortunately they are witness to something they shouldn't have seen, and that's when things go awry. And it is a brutally efficient thriller, great performances, and also very sadly the last performance of Anton Yelchin, who died recently.
Get ready to run.
Here we go.
Patrick Stewart is, theatrically threatening, but the real terrifying entity in the film is the lead singer of the skinhead band, who we don't see again until the very end of the film. That guy is phenomenal and should have been way more in the film because he is literally freakishly scary.